I know. Oh! Hello! Welcome to round 4 of the We Mazda Be Crazy Championship. A championship that nobody asked for, and no one in the office could give a care. That said, let us recap what we have seen thus far. Round 1, we saw Phil of Car Throttle fame tackle 11 tracks and perform valiantly for a majority of the time. Credit where credit is due to that little car. Day 2, we saw Phil's hardtop brother, also known as Closed-Minded Phil, or as I later started calling that version of the NA-MX-5, the Gutless Bastard. Yesterday, we saw the NB Super 20. Sorry, the NB Mazda Sport. I'm getting my cars mixed up. And that performed... it tried. It tried. Put it that way. It tried. It tried. Today, we are seeing what is... I need to correct myself here. Not the most powerful car on the leaderboard, but is in fact the most powerful Mazda MX-5 on the leaderboard. This is the Mazda MX-5 Super 20, a 20th anniversary track spec re-release of the 3rd generation Mazda MX-5, aka the NC. We are looking at 225 horsepower, 180 foot-pounds of torque, a curb weight of 2,586 pounds, and, just like with the NB Mazda Sport, a 6-speed manual transmission. I will admit, I thought this car had a flappy paddle transmission, which I'm not a huge fan of. Flappy paddle transmissions are evil, as far as I'm concerned. Opinions aside, let's get to the track so I can discuss more opinions. Is that right? Is that really what we're doing? That's what we're doing, apparently. Okay, to the track. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Suzuka of the Mei Prefecture in Japan. And welcome to the NC Super 20, a car that honestly sounds friggin' amazing. It really honestly does. This thing sounds like it's got a mini rotary engine under the bonnet from the way the exhaust has been tuned. See what I mean? It sounds amazing. Anyways, the time that the NC Super 20 had to beat was a 2 minutes 49.972 seconds. This was a time that Phil 2, even more Collins, set yesterday. The NC Super 20, which is, bear in mind, a track spec NC, basically, did it... on this, its second lap, I can hardly believe I'm saying this myself, in a time of 2 minutes, 39.668 seconds. It's about a 10.3 second split to the closest full 1/10 of a second. I'm going to say that figure again. 10.3 seconds. This car was absolutely phenomenal around Suzuka. Sticky tyres, stiff suspension, stiff anti-roll bars. There was hardly no body roll from the thing whatsoever. There was a little bit of opposite lock on occasion, but the tyres just went, hey, watch this, and quickly pulled the car back in line. That there, though, where we braked, I thought I'd stuffed it up because I got the entire right-hand side of the car on the grass. I thought, now watch this, it's just going to veer off to the right. Also, this chicane here, do yourself a favour and do not put the Super 20 in second gear for that chicane, because that's what I did on lap 3, and the car was not a happy bunny at all. That was the only time where the car proved itself to be a bit of a problem child. Outside of that, however, good God, was this thing fun to drive around Suzuka. A proper technical course for a proper track-based two-seater. You couldn't ask for more. And it makes a good noise. Track number 2, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back from the land of the rising sun to the land of extravagant loans given by the citizens. We are back at Yas Marina in the United Arab Emirates. The NC did pretty well around this track, except for one turn where, good God, the suspension was unhappy through this one turn. In fact, it's coming up now. It's not this turn, it's the turn after it, this right-hander. It was really unhappy through there. In fact, on lap 2, it spun through that right-hander. That said, the time it had to beat was a 1 minute 15.573 seconds, a time that was set in episode 2 by the gutless bastard. The NC Super 20 did it in a time of 1 minute 9.202 seconds. We got a sub 1 minute 10 lap out of a car around the North Corkscrew. 6.3 seconds, give or take. Jesus. Okay, here comes the corks. Oh shit, no, that's not meant to happen. Ah! Oh no! Okay, we managed to survive that. Not sure how. Oh no, not again. So, after the NC2... let's ignore that. So as I was saying, after the NC Super 20 inadvertently became a Formula Drift car and went, hey, watch this, down the corkscrew, it finally settled down, sort of, to do its second lap, which was the best lap that the car performed. Now, the NC Super 20 had a time of 1 minute 54.987 seconds to beat. That was a time that was done in yesterday's round by Phil 2 Even More Collins, aka the NB Mazda Speed. The NC Super 20 did its lap in a time of 1 minute 46.960 seconds, which is basically math. That is a split of 8.027 seconds. 8 seconds. That was with the car inadvertently becoming a Formula Drift machine and collecting the inside tyre bundle on that turn. This car is friggin' phenomenal. I don't know what Mazda did to the car, I mean, other than make a deal with the devil while they were building it. But holy shit, this thing can't half shift. You just saw there as we were approaching the corkscrew again, the back end tried escaping under braking again. This car really let its hair down around the Guna Seca. I can't explain why. It just went, hey, watch this, and decided to make a bit of a nuisance of itself on its first lap. Still, I'd rather it make a nuisance of itself on its first lap than on its best lap. Track number 5, ladies and gentlemen, saw us back in Germany for the Hockenheim National Circuit. And here's something that I didn't actually know about the NC Super 20. Coming up pretty soon is a shot from the perspective of the car's bonnet. This thing's got a supercharger on it. Also, word of warning for turn 1 on Hockenheim in this car. It does like going up on 2 wheels on the outside rumble strip. That said, the lap time that the NC Super 20 had to beat was a 1 minute 57.086 seconds, a time that was set 2 days ago by the gutless bastard. The NC Super 20 did its lap time in a time of 1 minute 48.540 seconds, which is, give or take, an 8.5 second split time. That's huge. Here comes the supercharger. Hear it? That's the supercharger winding up. So yeah, as to how the car actually handled Hockenheim, there was a big oversteer moment during the final turn on the first lap. But outside of that, and the fact that the car kept tipping itself up on turn 1, yeah, surprisingly well behaved. Ignore that bit where I ran wide on lap 3, we'll oh well, on to the next track, and I'll explain why Mazda called it the Super 20. Super 20 Supercharged. Well played, Mazda, well played. GG. Is there anything else that the kids today are saying? It's just those two? Okay, happy days, we can move on. Track number 6, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back in the United States for Virginia International Raceway South Formation with the Fail Race Rallycross editions. This was the car's third and final lap, and let me tell you something, this car was really unhappy on this track, especially in the off-road sections. On both laps 2 and 3, lap 3 being what you are currently watching, on the first dirt section, the car's back end stepped out under braking to make the left-hander on the first off-road section, which we're about to see. And there it goes, very wide indeed. That said, the time it had to beat was a 1 minute 30.499 seconds, a time that was set by Phil 2 Even More Collins. The NC Super 20, which I still don't have a funny nickname for yet, did its lap in a time of 1 minute 26.389 seconds. That's a split of 4.110 seconds. A 4.1 second split. Not bad for a car that I thought would really struggle, and it did struggle, in the off-road sections. Track number 7, ladies and gentlemen, and we are still stateside here at Lime Rock, where let's gloss over that. Anyways, we are back at the Lime Rock South Chicane Formation, where the NC Super 20, or the Trumpet, as I'm now going to start nicknaming it, had a lap time of 1 minute 8.178 seconds to beat. That was a time set by Phil 2 Even More Collins. The Trumpet did it in a time of 1 minute 7.092 seconds. So that's about, what, 1.1 seconds, give or take? Which, I don't know why. Maybe it's because of how much more power this car has got over the NB Mazda speed. Maybe it's because of how short the track is. But I was legitimately expecting a quicker lap time. Oh well, onwards and upwards. Track 9, ladies and gentlemen, brought us back to Switzerland and the very picturesque Bernese Alps circuit where, yeah, we gave the Trumpet another black eye and a sore right buttock. Basically, the car spun twice. First spin, nothing happened. Second spin, we gave the car a black eye and a sore buttock. Welcome to the world of Forza, ladies and gentlemen, where logic goes straight out the window. That said, this downhill section, 148 miles per hour down here on lap 1, whereas by comparison Phil 2 Even More Collins yesterday had, I think it was 135 miles an hour I said? I can't remember. That said, speaking of Phil 2 even more Collins, the lap time that the Trumpet had to beat was a 2 minutes 10.654 seconds. The Trumpet did its lap in a time of 2 minutes 6.091 seconds. Here comes the tunnel. Yep, the Trumpet is definitely in contention for the best sounding car through that tunnel. But yeah, point is though, a 4.6 second split between the Trumpet and Phil 2 even more Collins. That's bloody impressive, you've got to say it, that is properly impressive. Pretty fun car to drive around this track. It did get a bit upset, as you just saw, there was just a hint of opposite lock through that turn. And this is actually where the car spun for us to give it both its black eye and its sore buttock. And yeah, it was nasty. It was real nasty. Time to head to the land down under. For our final track of round 4, we were back in the home of the Union Jack. We were back in the UK and specifically on the Top Gear Aerodrome. This car was really good around here. Bit of oversteer, believe it or not, on the exit of the Hammerhead, but that wasn't the end of the world. The lap time was a 1 minute, 25.299 seconds. Here we go through Chicago. Bit wide on the midsection through Chicago, I thought. Anyways, point is that Phil 2, even more Collins, yesterday did a lap of 1 minute 31.180 seconds. Here we come through the Hammerhead, which is about that gives us about a 5.9 second split. There's the oversteer through the Hammerhead. So yeah, actually, as I say, this car was surprisingly good around the Top Gear Aerodrome. Would do it again. As you can see there, I took a big corner cut on the build up to the follow through. That's really good through the tyres. We were up to about 108 miles an hour past that inside tyre wall. It was sketchy, let me tell you. Here we go through the penultimate corner. Through Gambon. Wait for it. And across the line. Let's conclude. So, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Mazda MX-5 NC Super 20. Or as I'm now affectionately calling it, the Trumpet. Somewhat unsurprisingly, and if this does surprise you, then you've clearly been living under a rock or not been paying any attention. The Trumpet was once again the fastest of all the cars that we saw thus far, but more importantly, the fastest it performed at was once again Lime Rock, with a time of 1 minute 7.092 seconds. Now for me to discuss the car itself. Sorry, what were Mazda thinking? And I promise, I know this is going to sound like I'm being incredibly cynical. That's because I am. But I really honestly don't know where Mazda were going with this car. And I wish I did. I really honestly do, because on a track, this thing performs phenomenally. The supercharged engine, the 6-speed transmission, the more track-friendly tyres, the more track-friendly suspension setup. It's even got a bloody roll cage. But again, here's where I have to be cynical about this car. All those things that I've just listed, well, a majority of the things I've just listed, have ruined the car. The ride is far too stiff for a car like this. The tyres do work, but in normal daily circumstances, because believe it or not, this is actually a production variant of the NC Mazda MX-5, the tyres just don't really work. You'd get pulled over every 10 seconds just for driving the thing off your driveway. The roll cage is obtrusive, and it adds additional weight to the car. You think of the Mazda MX-5, and one of the key things that you think of that made it a proper car, or a proper car that worked in any environment whatsoever, was its lightweight. The NC Super 20 doesn't have it, and it's because of that roll cage. And as for the supercharger, look, herein lies my quibble with the supercharger, okay? I'm all for a supercharger. Give me a supercharger over a turbocharger any day. You get a supercharger and a big block American V8, you're on your way. Let's be perfectly honest. But a supercharger, a twin screw supercharger no less, on a Mazda MX-5 with an i4. If it was a V6, if it had a Jaguar V6, which is a very popular engine swap for the NA MX-5, then I would have understood. I really honestly would have understood. But I think in relation to the horsepower output, Mazda should have stopped at around 190 to 200 horsepower. Anywhere between 190 to 200 horsepower for a car like this is fine. That's adequate. That's more than adequate. That's generous. 225 horsepower, however, from a supercharged i4 and a 6-speed manual transmission? Yeah. Nah. You're asking for trouble. You can argue otherwise until the cows come home and you're blue in the face. That's still asking for trouble. Would I recommend that you get the NC Super 20 either IRL or in Forza Motorsport 7? If you're ballsy enough to find one IRL and have got the cash as well as the time to try and find one IRL, then you look to your heart's content, because let me tell you something, I won't be looking anytime soon. As for whether or not I would buy one in-game, again, only if you're a completionist. Which is much like what I said with, it was either Phil 2, Even More Collins, or The Gutless Bastard. I'll probably have it captioned on screen. But this car doesn't work both IRL or in-game. It wants to work, and I commend it for trying to work. But it doesn't. It just doesn't. The Mazda MX-5 is supposed to be a go-anywhere, utilitarian, fun bit of machinery. It's supposed to be comfortable, but at the same time rugged. It's supposed to decimate racetracks, but also be comfortable in a Tesco's car park. The Super 20 is none of those things. It's comfortable on a track, and only on a track. It's comfortable burning through about a half dozen sets of Yokohama tyres, not idling along on a quartet of eco-savers. It just doesn't work. And to be perfectly honest, for the price, it doesn't really work either. I think this car is about, I'll admit I'm not entirely sure how much this car was because it was a specialty dealer exclusive in Forza Motorsport 7. But I think it's about, I don't know, about 65 to 75,000 in-game monies. Again, I'll have it captioned on screen. It just isn't worth it. It's not worth your time trying to find one IRL, and it's not worth your time or your in-game money buying one. That said, this has been round 4 of the We Mazda Be Crazy Championship. Please tune in again tomorrow, where we shall be taking a more sensible version of the NC around all 11 of those tracks. However, if you have liked what you have seen here, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel, maybe leave a like, maybe leave a comment, maybe even share the video with a couple of friends of yours. It's up to you, I'm not your parents. That said, thank you all so much for watching, and until tomorrow's instalment of The Rolling Road, take care.